Miss Young here. I am so excited to see you. I know we're not seeing each other face to face, but just know that I am so glad that technology exists and that y'all are able to see my face and y'all are able to get these YouTube videos. I want to first say that, guys, I miss you. I do. I miss you before the break, but I miss you even more now, and I'm going to miss you next week and the week after, until I see you again. Just know that I miss you so much. Second, I hope that y'all are having a great time at home, spending time with your families. And then third, I want to make sure that y'all are staying safe, and so I want to talk to y'all for just a second about hand washing. Okay, guys, please make sure that we are washing our hands. We want to make sure that we're washing our hands for at least 20 seconds. Now, something new that Miss Young learned, remember, we're never too old to learn. I learned that if you sing the happy birthday song when you wash your hands, that's about 20 seconds. So when you're washing your hands, go ahead and sing the happy birthday song to yourself. It can be your birthday every day. So just sing happy birthday while you're washing your hands, and when you're done with the happy birthday song, your hands are good to go. Okay? So make sure we're keeping our hands clean. If we're coughing or we're sneezing, guys, make sure we're sneezing or coughing into our shirt, or we're sneezing and coughing into our arm. If you feel sick, make sure you let your parents know so that they can take the necessary steps to get you better, okay? I want to make sure during this time that everybody stays healthy and everybody stays happy and that we're all good to go, so in a couple of weeks, I get to see your beautiful faces again, okay? So, Miss Young, one, I've already said that I'm so excited that technology exists and that I can make these YouTube videos. For the next couple of weeks while we're not at school, Miss Young is going to make YouTube videos, and I'm going to send the links to your parents so that you can watch them. Today we're going to do a read aloud, so we're going to be doing read alouds here and there, and then I'm going to have short 10-minute mini math lessons just to keep y'all up to date in the math world and make sure that during this break y'all are still learning. If y'all hear outside noise, guys, I'm so sorry. I am sitting outside because it feels amazing, and that's another thing. Get outside. Don't go outside and go hang out at the park with your friends, because we're supposed to be doing social distancing, which means keeping our distance from people just to make sure we stay healthy. But go outside, sit outside, go ride your bike down the street. Take some time just to sit outside. It's great. It's great, and it feels great outside. Okay, so anyways, back to what I was saying. So I'm going to post these YouTube videos, and to keep y'all up to date on your learning. I know that while you're at home, you're like, oh yeah, I get to play Fortnite, I get to watch TikToks, I get to play my games. That's all great. That's all fine and dandy. You can definitely do those things. But Miss Young definitely wants to make sure during this time you are still learning. So, like I said, we'll have read alouds, we'll have some mini math lessons, I may do some mini science lessons as well. But please make sure that while you're at home, you're practicing those addition facts, subtraction, your multiplication facts of your 2s, 5s, and 10s, because those are the ones that we really need to know to make sure we know how to multiply and divide. And then also read. Read, guys. Pick up a book, read, watch some read alouds on YouTube. You can type in your favorite book on YouTube and type read aloud at the end, and it will definitely pull it up. In the description box down below, Miss Young is also going to leave some free resources that you and your family, and some websites that you and your family can go to, and they have free stuff that you can do. And always know, we always do Prodigy on Thursdays. Miss Young has also put some Prodigy lessons on your accounts so that you can access those and you can play Prodigy and you're still learning math in a fun way. Just don't let this time be just being on YouTube all the time or playing Fortnite all the time. I definitely want to make sure that y'all are still learning. Miss Young is not a professional YouTuber. I do not have all the setup and all of that, so please just bear with me. I will try to make sure these videos are as good as I can make them. So we're going to go ahead and get into our read aloud. Like I said, just bear with me. I'm trying to do the best that I can. If you hear the wind, I'm sorry. I hope that it's not blocking out my voice, but leave me feedback and we can make sure that these videos are getting better and better and that y'all are loving them. Okay, so the first book that we are going to be reading is called Raising Dragons. This is one of Miss Young's favorite books. Okay, and it's written by Geraldine Nolan and it's illustrated by Elise Primavera. Alright. Pa didn't know a thing about raising dragons. He raised corn and peas and barley and wheat. He raised sheep and cows and pigs and chickens. He raised just about everything we needed for life on our farm. But he didn't know a thing about raising dragons. Ma didn't know about dragons either. She made a real nice home for us. But when it came to dragons, she didn't even know what they wanted for dessert. Now me, I knew everything about dragons, and I knew they were real. At first, Pa thought the notion of dragons on a farm was just a plain foolishness. I'm not too particular about fanciful critters, and I don't have any time for make-believe, he told me one day. So when Pa said he didn't want to talk anymore, I knew I'd better keep my opinions to myself. I did my chores with my thoughts in my head at one end of the barn, while Pa worked at the other end with his thoughts. I remember the day my life with dragons began. I was out for my Sunday before supper walk. Near Miller's Cave, I came across something that looked like a big rock, but it was too round and too smooth, not hard enough to be a rock. Carefully, I rolled it into the cave and went to fetch Pa. "What do you think it is, Pa?" "An egg, a big egg," was all he said. "Now you stay away from that thing, daughter. No telling what'll come out of it." I couldn't tell if Pa was more scared than worried. "You just stay away, you hear me?" he said, pointing a finger. I always minded my parents, never had a reason not to, and I tried to mind Pa now, but I could not stay away. Day after day, I'd go to Miller's Cave to wait and watch and wonder, what is coming out of that egg? One night, I couldn't sleep. I got out of my bed and climbed out of my window onto the perch Pa had made for me in the oak tree. But a loud noise broke the silence of the night. Crack! It was louder than 100 firecrackers on the 4th of July. Crack! I heard it again, this time louder than before. It was coming from Miller's Cave. At the first hint of dawn, I headed toward the sound. There in the corner of the cave, where I'd left it, was the egg. And pushing its way out, like I'd never seen so many baby chicks do, was a tiny dragon poking through that shell with its snout. It was love at first sight. "Hey there, little feller, welcome to the world," I sang, soft and low. As I stroked his nose, a sweet little purring whimper came from him. As I touched skin to scale, I knew I was his girl, and he was my dragon. I named him Hank. Hank was just a joy to have around. He was a fire-breathing dragon, and he made sure he kept his temper whenever I was near. Pa wouldn't have seen the sense or the use of having a dragon around who ate you out of the house and home. Thankfully, Hank preferred fish, frogs, eels, and insects to beef, lamb, chicken, and pork. All he did was have a healthy appetite. Ma never wanted to know about Hank. Whenever I wanted to talk about him, she covered her ears and sang. She said that having a dragon around had to be worse than having a field full of critters. But it wasn't. Ma and Pa taught me about caring for living creatures from the day I was born. They taught me about raising lots of things, but they never imagined I would someday care for a critter most folks don't even believe existed. It did not take a little time, but whether they liked it or not, Hank was a part of our lives. He was an awesome thing, growing to be as big as the barn from tail to snout. Hank was very clumsy when his wings came in, but once he learned how to use them, we'd go flying mostly at night. Up until then, I had been afraid of the dark. The shadows and muffled noises and the complete quiet stillness always seemed to be waiting and watching me. I had seen our farm from up in my tree perch, but Hank showed me my world from on high, the way a cloud or a bird or a star just might be seeing me. Up there, I saw things for what they were, and it was grand. Pa was the first one to notice what he called a strangeness happening around the farm. One morning with Samson, our mule, hitched for work, Pa set out to plow the fields. But all the work had been done. The ground was turned over and seeds had been sown. Pa was plumb flabbergasted. Hank and I tended to the crops too. We pulled weeds and kept varmints away. And Hank even got me to school before the first bell. Even after all the good he'd done, Ma still didn't want any part of Hank. But when a hot spell hit, her tomatoes began to dry out. Hank hovered above them, fanning away the heat. He saved just about every last one of them. Ma didn't admit it, but she felt beholden to Hank. She began fixing fancy gourmet meals just for him. Eel pot pies, frog leg pudding, and a fish and insect stew that Hank just loved. When Ma harvested her tomatoes, Nancy Atkins bought some. She claimed they had medicinal value. She said they cured her gout. Pretty soon, folks wanted dragon-grown food like they wanted medicine or magic cures. But there was nothing medicinal or magical about it. It was just Hank. The crowds and attention decided his fate. One evening, Ma and I were sitting in front of our potbelly stove. She was shelling peas while I read Murdoch's Adventure, Atlas of the Known and Unknown World, a book I'd gotten from the library that morning. In that instant, I realized what I needed to do. Come morning, Hank and I set out for the dragon-shaped landmass floating in the middle of the ocean. There were dragons everywhere. They put us up in the best hotel, invited us to eat in their best restaurants. Hank felt right at home. When I saw Hank playing run and fly and chase, I knew he had found the perfect place to be. All in all, it was a great vacation. But at the end, it got real hard. I had to say farewell to Hank, at least for now. Normally, I don't get mushy at departing, but when Hank turned to me and called me Cupcake, I boo-hooed a heap. Just as I was about to board my plane, Hank stood there on the runway trying to hide a wheelbarrow behind his back. His toothy grin lit up that cloudy day. The wheelbarrow was full of rocks. Ma squealed in puzzlement. Rocks, Mother, they're eggs. They're dragon eggs, I exclaimed. Pa beamed proud. Each egg looked different from the rest. One glowed, one glistened, another one flickered, and one even sparkled. I stood admiring the lot of them. Looking at those eggs, I thought about my Hank. For now, he was out there somewhere in the world. I knew I'd see him again. Wondering when was the only thing fixed in my mind. But in the meantime, I knew what I had to do. The same way Pa knew that farming was in his blood, I knew that raising dragons was in mine. There are some things you just know. The end. Okay, so that was our first read aloud, guys, Raising Dragons. Again, I just want to say I miss you. I really do, and I hope that everyone is staying healthy in your family. If you need anything, please let Miss Young know. I have your parents on Dojo, so please reach out to me on there. If your parents are not set on Dojo, I will put a link down in the description box for them to set up their Dojo account. And they can personally message me and get the access code, the parent access code that they need. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe to this. This is a channel that Miss Young started. What? Crazy. Okay, go ahead and make sure you subscribe to this channel, and go ahead and make sure you turn on your post notification bell so you know when Miss Young posts. I will send the link to your parents, but if you have your own device at home, like a tablet, it will automatically let you know when Miss Young posts her videos. Alright guys, please stay healthy. I miss you so much, and I will see you tomorrow with our first math lesson about equal groups so that we can be masters of multiplication. Y'all have a great day.